message reads, at Eldridge's, come Elsie.
Well, if this Abe Slaney is indeed the murderer, we must make an immediate move to arrest him.
Well, calm yourself, Inspector. I expect him here any moment.
Yeah, but why should Slaney come here?
Because I have written and asked him.
But won't his suspicions be roused? Will he not try to escape?
Saunders.
Excuse me, sir. There's a gentleman approaching the house.
Do you think he'd be armed?
He's a fool if he's not.
Good day, sir.
Is Mrs. Cubitt at home?
I'll inquire, sir, if you'll step inside. What name shall I say?
Tell her it's an old friend. She's expecting me.
If you'll wait in the library a moment.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like you've got the drop on me, but what the hell is going on?
Abe Slaney, I believe.
What if I am, and who are you anyway?
My name would mean nothing to you, though I suspect that of Wilson Hargreave of the Chicago Police Department will. I see that it does. Mr. Slaney, you should know that Mrs. Elsie Cubitt is very seriously ill.
I don't believe you. This is some cheap trick. Mrs. Elsie Cubitt wrote me a note just an hour ago. A note that only I can understand.
What one man can invent, another can discover. I'm here, Abe Slaney, at Eldridge's. Come, Elsie. And your last note to her, Elsie, prepare to meet thy God. And this?
You wrote that note? But you were lying about Elsie.
Slaney, when you shot and killed Hilton Cubitt, Elsie Cubitt, in her despair, attempted to kill herself and is now at death's door.
No.
No! I gotta see her! I gotta see her! I love her, for God's sake! Elsie! I love you, Elsie! Elsie! Elsie!
I believe that she fled from America to avoid you. Because you followed her and made her life a misery, she now lies under grave suspicion of murdering the husband she loved. The least you can do is to clear her of that.
I guess the very best case I can make for myself now is to tell you the absolute naked truth.
It is my duty to warn you that it will be used against you.
I guess you probably know that Elsie's father's the most powerful man in Chicago.
One of the most powerful criminal men in Chicago.
It was he who invented the dancing men. We used it as a code in the old days. I've known Elsie since she was a child. She was promised to me. I may have threatened her, but I wouldn't have touched a hair on her pretty head. But you're right. She hated the whole Chicago business. That's why she ran away to Europe. It was only after her marriage to this Englishman that I was able to find out where she was. I wrote to her, but I got no answer.
She burned your letter. She was happy in her new life in Derbyshire.
I came here to England to take her home. I sent her notes. I did everything I could to coax Elsie away. Then my temper got the better of me and I began to threaten her. But yesterday, she sent me a letter. She said she would come down when her husband was asleep and speak to me through the end window. If I would go away afterwards and leave her in peace.
Can I make you see? I've never been so happy as I've been here with him. I love him. Abe, I want to stay, and I'm going to stay.
But what about your friends in Chicago? What about your family?
Friends, do you call them? Killers, robbers, extortionists? Some family.
But you and I were engaged.
I'm sorry, Abe. My father forced me into it. How could I be happy with you in that life? Please go away. Please. I beg you.
You begged me?
Yes. Hilton is such a good man. It would break my heart if scandal ever touched him. Here's money. It's all that I have. Now, please go away. No!
Are you coming home?
No!
You're coming home!
No!
What the?
No!
I think we've heard enough for the moment. Come along.
Can't I see her before I go?
Nobody can see her. Even we have not been given that privilege.
Mr. Holmes, I hope that if ever again I have an important case, I shall have the good fortune to have you by my side. Good afternoon, and thank you.
Holmes? What did you write in that note?
See if you can read it.
Come here at once. Come here at once.
How absurdly simple.
And so the dancing men, which had so often been the agents of evil, were finally used on the side of justice. Abe Slaney was condemned to death at the Derby Assizes, but his sentence was changed to penal servitude in consideration of mitigating circumstances, in the certainty that Hilton Cubitt had fired the first shot. Mrs. Cubitt made a complete recovery and lives still at Ridlingthorpe Manor.